Welcome you all at another session or modules of Crypto Hedge Fund Accounting. So in this module, we're gonna focus on structures of crypto hedge funds. So it means how you can actually set up hedge funds. What are the structures which are available in the different jurisdictions, and how you can set up them. This understanding is a very essential for everyone, for fund accountants or fund managers or fund administrators, or even anyone who is really want to understand the different structures. So this basically the module is a very insightful for all of them. So let's try to now discuss the each structures in details. So the first structures that we're going to discuss is standalone structure, right? A single fund entity that directly pools investments and manages crypto assets. So it means if you have a small fund size, what you can do, you can incorporate fund entity, maybe in BVI, maybe in DFSA, Singapore, India, US, UK, or in any market. All right, depends on the fund manager's investments objectives and investor base. Fund manager will incorporate entity, raise funds under that entity, and same entity will directly invest in different funds. All right, now so if I talk about when it is means use that entity, see, typically by smaller hedge funds, as I said, or for domestic investors with a straight forward tax and regulatory considerations, you can establish standalone structure. For example, let's say entity XYZ Crypto Fund LLC registered in Delaware, investor base US based individual and institutional investors will invest in this particular entity, and investment, of course, direct investment in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoin. So in terms of structure, how it looks like, see this: investments, the same XYZ crypto fund raise investments from the investors like individual and institutional investors, and invested in directly investments like in cryptos, bitcoins, and different blockchain based coins. All right, if you ask me pros and cons, one pros that we have covered here: simple and cost effective, and which is a good for a small fund size and domestic investors. And cons: limited to one jurisdiction and investor type. So this is how the single fund entities would be. Let me tell you something from accounting as well. It would be very easy to manage the accounting and all. You just need to produce one financial statement, BS, income statement, and NAV statement. That's all you have to do with the single or standalone entity. All right, now let me discuss about the very critical one, which is master and feeder. See, this is another type of entity which, or structure I would say, which you can select as a fund manager, or if you're a fund accountant, then you'll have to do the accounting for master and feeder as well. So what it means, this master and feeder? See, if I talk about master feeder, it's separate feeder funds pool investments from the domestic and international investors, funneling them into the single master fund for centralized asset management. To again, so it means one entity would be where as a master entity who take care of investments and trading part, and feeders basically they take care of investments or capital raising part. So feeders will raise capital, and feeders will transfer funds or capital to the master to invest in masters, or I would say masters will manage investments or trading part and all right. So in terms of, let's say, the example or registration part, how it looks like: master fund, let's say XYZ Crypto Master Fund Limited in BVI, Cayman Island, not BVI, Cayman Island. Let's say why Cayman Island? Because of tax purpose. Onshore feeder fund XYZ Crypto Feeder LLC registered in Delaware for US investor, and offshore feeder XYZ crypto offshore feeder fund, again offshore, registered in Cayman Island for non-US investors. All right. So this is how your structure it looks like. In terms of investments, again would be investing into the decentralized projects, staking and real farming. All right. And if I talk about now pros and cons, tax, of course, it is like, tax efficient, accommodate, diverse investor types. It is again, but yeah, in terms of accounting, reporting, and, even these fund structures, incorporation of a fund structures would be very complex and even costly as well. How it looks like in a graph, if I put it into the graph here, if you see feeder funds, onshore feeder funds, XYZ, LLC, they have established, and another side feeder fund, UK offshore fund, staking, yield, and farming. That again investments come into picture. See here, few things are very important. Directly, any investors can invest in master funds, so you should understand this as well. Directly, you can only register single feeder and ask feeder to invest in any other masters as well. All right, that is also possible. Only you can register master without any feeder. That also you can do it. It's just the structure depends on the requirement, depends on the investments objectives, accordingly, that you can incorporate in a structures and manage it out. All right, these are the basically exceptions. Then apart from that, there would be other structures as well, like uh, we have discussed, like master, feeder, right, and then your single standalone. Apart from that, you may see SPV structure as well, provide specific investment purposes vehicle, but may lack broader investor appeal. And apart from that, you can also incorporate parallel fund structures as well, allow separate fund strategies, but can increase administrative overhead or cost, I would say. Parallel, it means you can register multiple funds. Maybe one fund you can register in US, another fund you can register in UK, another again fund you can register in in Delaware or different countries, depends on the investors and their objectives. But that will lead to the increase in cost, because registration of a fund, it's a costly deal. All right. So yeah, this was all about your master and feeder and even structures. But now, if we want to understand, let's say a little bit technical part in terms of registration of this master, feeder, and how it works. If you see in this context, master feeder structure, where the master fund is registered in the US, right, this is another example, and the designation of the onshore and offshore depends on the perspective of the US investor, because most of the people they have asked several times questions to me, sir, how your basically offshore and onshore works. Onshore feeders, like registered in the US, cater to US based investors, the demand. Example, let's say entity name is like XYZ Crypto Feeder LLC, and the jurisdiction is Delaware. Why they have registered in US? Because provide a tax compliant vehicle for US investors and aligned with US regulations. Second, offshore feeder, registered outside the US, in the case, let's say the UK, for UK investors, cater to non-US investors, the requirement. Individual and institutions, because basically they are tax exempted and outside the US, so that's how they have created a separate entity. Examples, XYZ Crypto Offshore Feeder Funds, jurisdiction United Kingdom. All right, and designed to offer a more favorable tax structures for non-US investors and avoid US tax reporting requirement. So this is how your onshore and offshore feeders come into picture. In terms of, let's say, representation, master entity manage onshore feeder and offshore feeder. Registered outside the US, we'll call it as offshore, and registered inside the US, we'll call it as a onshore feeder. All right, which is onshore will follow the tax compliance, and offshore will be in the most cases it will be like or tax exempted, or would be like favorable tax treatment. All right. So in short, funds flow, if you ask me, onshore feeder collects capital from US investors and channel it into the master, which is again registered in US. Offshore feeder registered in UK and collect capital from non-US investors, and also funnel it into the master fund, which is registered in US. And the master fund manage the pooled capital and invest it into the crypto assets, blockchain projects, or other ventures. How it looks like in a graphs, see this master fund, manage investment projects like crypto assets, blockchain project, and other ventures, and other, the offshore and onshore feeders. Basically, they raised or, collect the capital from the investors and send it to the master for investment purpose. All right. So this is how your master feeder looks like, and I hope this is enough to understand this master and feeder structure. Now let's talk about uh, special purpose vehicle entity. If I talk about, special purpose vehicle entity, again it's a legal structure where you can register, as a SPV for a crypto project. SPV is created to isolate high risk investments or a specific, projects within the crypto space when it is used for one time investments or to manage, risky crypto ventures. You can, create and manage it. For example, let's say your main fund ABC Crypto Hedge Fund registered in Cayman Island, SPV ABC DeFi SPV Limited, you can register in Singapore for high risk, DeFi protocol investments. And investments should be like, specific investments that you can do, like initial coin offering or IDO or NFTs and all. Pros: SPVs would be highly risky or isolated as well, and target, would be like project funding and all. Cons: additional management and reporting requirement, because for SPV we'll have to do separate accounting, NAV calculations, balance sheet preparation, trial balance, means every treatment that will have to apply to the SPVs as well. So basically your administrative cost will increase. All right, how SPV look like? See this, your main fund is registered as a hedge fund, and same you can, create a SPV to cater the requirement of, high risky projects and all, and that investments you can manage through SPV. Pros and cons already we have discussed. Now let's talk about parallel fund. Parallel, right? Parallel, it means at the same level. So two or more funds operate in a parallel or investing together but catering to different types of investors or jurisdictions. So for example, let's say we have two types of investors. One is onshore investors and another one is offshore investors. See, in a master and feeder we have just registered as a feeder, but in case of this parallel one, see this, we can directly registered, onshore fund, means directly we can register fund LLC, DEF Crypto Fund LLC, we can register it, and we can also register offshore fund, which is DEF Crypto Fund Limited BVI. So as per the, fund structures which are available. So in this case, see all, the why will register as a parallel one? Because see, there are different things. If we have a requirement or if we have a big investors and all, and if the demands separate fund registration, or maybe let's say if they have any tax benefit as such for a separate registration, then we can register, in that way. But this parallel structure would be like, very costly as well, because it won't be easy to manage it out. All right. Pros and cons, you can see this. Pros, it means flexibility to manage regulatory differences, but would be like, duplication of administrative work, because if you registered multiple funds, so you will have to basically manage in that way. All right, look this how it looks like. Onshore fund registered, that fund will call it as a parallel fund. In terms of benefit, it's highly compliance and, and regulatory flexible, but it's not easy to deal with, because your cost will increase. All right. Yeah, this was all about crypto funds and structure. So now if I talk about the different jurisdictions where you can register your fund and their regulations. You can register your fund in Canada, means same structures you can register in Canada. You can register in US, UK, Dubai, Singapore, Luxembourg, and British Virgin Island, and we have a different regulations as well. Now if I talk about if I talk about United States, in the United States we have, but all right, United states, you can see Security Exchange Commission investment advisor registration or state licenses which are needed. Then in the United Kingdom, you can see FC authorization and alternative investment fund manager directive compliance that you will have to follow and register your fund under that. In Dubai, they have a virtual asset regulatory authority, as well as you need to register your fund under DFSA, fund manager license, before raising any funds from the investor. If I talk about Singapore, Singapore has CMS license that you need to obtain to start your investment journey. In Luxembourg, CSSF AIF manager authorization is mandate, and in BVI, CBA registration is mandate. All right, so these are the licenses which are needed to kickstart your fund business. And now if I talk about cost and all, see, registration of crypto hedge fund, it will cost you around 50k to 5 lakhs USD, considering licenses, accounting, legal structure setup, administration cost, and everything. And timeline would be 3 months to 1 year, depending on the your structure and complexity. Lots of documentation are also needed, including your fund constitutions, offering documents, investor details, fund manager details, profiles, KYC and AML policies, business draft or plan or regulatory plan, all of that which is needed to kickstart your investment journey. All right, so these are the references. You can go to the sites like US Security Advisor registration site, you can visit on to get the information, and same for the other sites as well. All right, here these are the basically the licensing part. But if you want to, let's say establish your own fund, so make sure that you have enough cost in place. So basically first you should do the analysis of a cost, then timeline, explore different regulations, then also you should hire expert or consultant who can help you to get this done, work on time, then explore registration and their cycles and other regulatory requirements as well. So that's how you can establish your fund. All right. Yeah, this was all about the structures and even registration part, and also couple of things so which are important to discuss with you guys. If you want to, let's say licenses, names and all, if you are a fund manager and if decided to, let's say start your own fund, then couple of licenses, names also you should know it. If I talk about United States, the requirement of United States would be like, you need to register your funds with Security Exchange Commission with assets of like 150 million. Smaller funds may register with state regulatory bodies as well, but if your fund assets is above 150 million, then you should register under Securities and Exchange Commission of US. Then custodian requirement, appointing a custodian, qualified custodian is generally required, all right, in a crypto funds as well, but it is not mandate, I would say. All right. Then AML and KYC compliance, money service business, MSB registration with FinCEN for a funds handling, payments or exchanges, again which is needed. Investment advisors registration, Security Exchange Commission registration or state regulator, that registration is also mandate. AYC and KML policies are also needed, right? And yeah, this is how your framework which is needed before facing to the regulators and registration part. All right. Then United Kingdom FC authorization required under the Alternative Investment Fund Manager Directive is there, so you need to register your business under FCA, right? Apart from that, Prudential Regulatory Authority is also there, so you need to provide, or means they provide basically custodial services and all. So FCA registration and PRA authorization which is mandate in UK if you are registering your fund in UK. And the the regulation name is AIFM and AIFMD, means Alternative Investment Fund Manager Registration, which is for a small funds, and for a big funds, Alternative Investment Fund Alternative Investment Fund Manager Directive, that is for a big size or professional funds, I would say, which is needed. Now, if I talk about Dubai, see, Dubai is also growing market for cryptos or different funds, which I have seen, so that you can register your business in Dubai. So they have like VARA, which is Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, but you need to register your business under DFSA as well, and then after you need to obtain the license from VARA. Need to appoint MLRO, and you should have to have policies around it, that framework which is needed to establish or kickstart your business. Now, if I talk about Singapore, Singapore is also the big market for fund businesses. You need to register the business or apply the license with Monetary Authority of Singapore, and registered as a venture capital fund manager regime, and you can select the company type, which is variable capital company, for a legal structure or the good the benefits and all. All right, so this is how your Singapore structure looks like. Means you can select variable capital company. If you need any details, you can reach out to us as well. And finally, Luxembourg. See, Luxembourg market is also the very promising market. Here you can see different structures like CS, ESF authorization, which is again mandate. All right, they have it's a regulatory body, so you can apply for a license with them under United European Union directive. You can select SPVs in Luxembourg for a structuring funds and tax efficiencies. All right, but yeah, they need a business constitution, KYCs, and again regulatory filings and all on time. This is what the structure would be in Luxembourg. Now, if I talk about BVI, which is a very famous one, you need to submit your license or application with SIBA, which is Securities and Investment Business Act, and also you need to appoint director and an MLRO, which is needed from the local resident, right? You need to appoint compliance officer and local director. It is a mandate requirement. Then apart from that, see, other requirement like directors, custodian, and legal counsel, which is needed, and even MLRO and the business constitution and document is also needed in BVI jurisdiction. All right. So yeah, this was all about crypto fund structures, licensing names, and even jurisdictions, because I have covered top jurisdictions only. Now, in short, if you ask me to summarize it, see, in this session, we have discussed the appointment of MLRO, compliance officer, custodian, and legal counsel, which is needed for effective fund management and compliance. In a few jurisdictions, you might be seeing the exemptions, but that doesn't mean it is not needed. It is needed for a better management and efficiency. So if you have decided, let's say, to establish any fund, then you should first look for these requirements, and if you need any guidance and all, you can definitely reach out to us, or you can book the appointment with us. All right. See, a few common things also I would like to share with you guys. If you see, if you want to register any fund as a SPV, maybe as a partnership, or maybe as another variable company or limited corporation, so it's not easy to it's not easy to select those structures. So you will have to discuss with legal experts, or I would say the experts of that particular jurisdiction. They'll be only helping you to select the proper structure, because structure selection is a very important job, and that affects on your tax filings or tax liabilities. And also make sure if you are selecting any structure, so before that you should consult with legal experts, so that legal experts can help you to understand the different structures and tax requirements as well. All right. So in terms of the few filings and all, see, if you let's say decide any structure or any jurisdiction, so you should keep in mind there would be AML compliance reports or licensing renewable process or directives or financial statement submission, compliance reporting submission, performance reporting submission, annual filing submission, all of that come into picture. So you should have to have a team and the administrator who can admin everything and will save you from the taxes or penalties or different cost, additional cost. All right. This is how the different reports which will come into picture. Then if you ask me, what are the different reports, which we prepare in the common question, so people will they ask, hey, what would be the different reports which we prepare? See, common reports which I have seen, balance sheets, which we have already discussed, that we prepare. Then income statement, cash flow statement. So basically, these are the reports which we prepare, means frequently for crypto funds. And apart from that, you can add more and more reports as well. So which is depends on your requirements. So you can add NAV calculation report for total assets, liabilities, or calculation of NAV, or so and so forth. It is on you, or depends on the investors as well. And NAV report cycle, it could be daily, monthly, weekly, hourly, depends on your requirement. You can also add performance reports as well with a few ratios like Sharpe ratio, investor return breakdown, capital contribution and withdrawal, or ROI or volatility metrics. See, reporting which is something depends on requirement or depends on funds. If the funds want to prepare few reports, funds can prepare it. All right, and apart from that, as I said, regulatory reporting, the cycle, and reports that you need to track it out for every jurisdiction, because funds can have a multiple licenses for a different jurisdiction. So tracking of all the cycles and reporting and all, it is a mandate, or it's a better, I would say, which saves you from the penalties and all. And yes, tax filing, or see, there are the different reports which you can prepare it. Means our audit report which you can set up it with auditor for IFRS or GAAP. Then you can also set up capital activity reports as well for investors contributions, distributions, capital call calculations, distributions, or document distributions, or so on and so forth. So that report also you can add it. Few reports would be mandate, few would be like voluntary, so it depends. You can also prepare like portfolio exposure reports or stress testing reports or holding reports. See, there are several, means few reports like which are voluntary but depends on your needs, so that you can do it. You can also perform the reconciliations for a fee report. It could be for a management fees or performance fees, or you can also set up quarterly reports as well. Then you can create a separate tracker for investors or communications or regulatory reports and all. All right, and finally, if you want to the achieve better result, then make sure that you have technology in place. You're calculating NAV of the fund as and when needed, and you're also doing the audit of all activities to ensure that you are following everything in a proper way. That's how you can achieve operational efficiency through by implementing, I would say, best practices in the business. All right, and yeah, so there are lots of reports and all which you can set up with. That's what I said, means you can set up lots of reports. So it's never ending process. You can set up capital call or investor capital call reports for capital call, investor contribution, subscription, and allocation of profit and loss, that you can prepare it if you want. You can also set up daily and periodic valuation reports as well, like NAV calculations, mark to market valuations of a portfolio, audit trail, price reconciliation report also you can prepare it, and valuation adjustment also you can report also you can generate it as and when needed. So means you can set up multiple reports, and which would be based on your requirement basically. And yes, your then portfolio accounting, if you have, you can set up it out and do the accounting, trade recording, reconciliations, tokens, transfers, staking yield income, all of that basically come into a picture. All right. Staking income, transactions, and all. So you can prepare a report, or you can also track those transactions as well. Basically, why we need a report? For a tracking of transactions, so you can track it out through it. You can also prepare a separate report for expenses and income as well, so track it out in a better way. So this is how your crypto accounting works, or fund accounting works, I would say. If you have any questions around accounting, please go ahead and comment us. Definitely we would like to answer all your queries and all. In this course, if you want me to cover the crypto concepts, it could be like staking, farming, or different concepts, RW and all. So please comment it. I'll try to incorporate all terms, or at least I'll try to make it available few modules for you as well, so that you can go through it. And I need a feedback as well, like how was the course and all. So I'm done with this course. The intention of this course was like to just cover the short and the important things only, to give you an at least idea about hedge fund, crypto hedge fund accounting and all. All right. So I'm done with this means the content discussion. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching this. We'll see you next module. Thank you.